A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want A+ English because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want A+ English.
Hi everybody and welcome back to A+ English. I'm Pat.
I'm Elsie.
And we're on day 2 of our story article, The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Now yesterday we learned that this village, this town, the elders give a baby to make the witch go away. We don't know how the misunderstanding happened, but we do know that some people don't like this idea, like the mothers of the babies.
Right.
So that leads to our warm-up question, which laws or traditions do you hate and why?
Law 是法律 tradition 是传统 So which laws or traditions do I hate? I think I hate people burning paper money.
Okay, just because it kind of pollutes a bit and makes a mess?
Yeah, it's making our air really bad.
Okay.
It's polluting our air and I hate them do that all the time.
Yeah, I do know a lot of the temples around Taipei at least have kind of stopped that and said don't do it inside.
But some of them do that in front of their houses on the streets.
It's true. One tradition I hate, and this is going to sound really weird, I don't like the tradition of office Christmas parties.
Oh, why not?
I think if you want to celebrate and you want to do something fun, that's great. But you should not be forced to take part in an office Christmas party with people maybe you don't know or you just only work with, because then it's not real. Everyone's kind of forcing it. It's not genuine, happy, let's really spend time together. It's kind of like, oh, yay, everybody get together, Christmas.
So the company actually forces people to join?
It doesn't really force, but I've never enjoyed big work parties for Christmas because it doesn't ever seem real. Like, I want to celebrate with some of them, but not all of them. So, not my thing. Definitely not my thing. But that's nothing as bad as putting a baby out in the woods for a witch. Let's read on to find out what happens with Shan the witch and this story.
The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Warm-up question. Which laws or traditions do you hate? Why?
Zan brings the baby home. She lives with Glurk, a monster, and Therian, a small dragon. Zan adopts the baby and names her Luna. When Luna is 5, Zan puts a spell on her. Luna won't be able to use her magic until she's 13. However, when Luna turns 13, Zan will die. Antane, a former student elder, hates the sacrifice ritual. He feels terrible about the mad woman. Worse, years later, his baby will be the next sacrifice. He decides to kill the witch to keep the town's babies safe. However, Antane doesn't know something. Sister Ignatia, the head of the Sisters of the Star, is really a bad person. The sacrifice ritual leaves people in sorrow, and she feeds on it.
So we know that Zan is the witch and she's got this baby, but the baby's got magic powers from drinking moons or moonlight. What's going to happen? We start with Zan brings the baby home.
是的，我们在前一天的课文当中讲到，这个 baby 它喝下了月光，然后就有 magic power。现在呢 ，Zan 这个女巫啊，她将女婴带回家。Who does the witch live with? Does she live alone?
No, and this is where it gets very kind of magic and fantasy. We see she lives with Glurk, a monster, and Therian, a small dragon.
所以女巫跟着怪物住在一起，还有一个 small dragon。小的什么东西呢？我们来看一下 dragon 这个今天第一个单字。 Dragon 这个名词呢，相信同学们都很熟悉，它是龙的意思。那龙啊是一种想象出来的动物，它是一个 imaginary animal。那再来呢，它会在哪边出现？像是 mythologies 神话 legends 传奇故事，还有像是 folk tales 民间故事当中，你都会看到它们的存在。那像日本啊，有一个很有名的动画《七龙珠》，它的英文名称就是 Dragon Ball。那单字例句给的是呢 ，In the story, the hero has to save a princess from a terrible dragon。在这个故事当中，英雄必须要从恶龙当中救出一位公主。
Now that brings up an interesting point. We often read fairy stories about dragons eating princesses, and that's maybe because in Western culture, where all these tales come from, dragons are usually bad.
Right.
But in Chinese culture, they're often good, right?
They are seen as good luck.
Yeah, like helpful, wise creatures, like emperors. So different ways to look at dragons. Here we've got quite a small one, so hopefully it's not too dangerous. So we see Zan, Shan, whatever it is, adopts the baby and names her Luna.
Okay.
Moon.Adopt
这个动词代表收养、领养，那可以 adopt a child 收养、领养一个小孩。We can also adopt a dog or a cat. 那 Zan 这个女巫呢，就领养了这名女婴。女婴跟月亮很有关系，所以就直接把它命名为 Luna.
Which is Spanish for moon, basically.
是的，就是西班牙文当中的月亮。
So we could say we saw a small cat on the street near our house and decided to adopt it. So you bring it home and care for it.So we got going forward in time now, and we see when Luna is 5, Zan puts a spell on her.
Spell 这边当名词用啊，代表是咒语跟魔法。Put a spell on somebody， 那就在某人身上施咒。他5岁的时候 ，Zan 女巫在他身上施下咒语。What kind of spell?Yeah,
it's some kind of magic that's going to have an effect, to change something, to mean she can or can't do something or whatever. We often read the story about the witch who put a spell on a prince and turned him into a frog. But this spell, we see Luna won't be able to use her magic, Luna's magic, until she's 13.Okay,
so she has magic, but she can't use it until she's 13. Be able to do something 代表的是能够做某事，像是呢我们可以说she's able to speak 5 languages， 那就代表她能够做到说5种语言这件事情。那我们先进到 Magic Box 听讲师讲解咯。
Magic
Box。Hello， 大家好，我是艾赛。今天的 Magic Box 呢，要来教教大家表示能够的说法哦。那想必大家听到能够这2个字的时候，脑中浮现出来的英文字应该是助动词 can 吧。像是如果呢，你的老师问你说，你今天能够交报告吗？其实你就可以这样说哦 ，Can you hand in your report today？ 那这边的这个 can 呢，它就可以只会做某件事情哦。那因为 can 本身它是一个助动词，所以呢，就是我们的后面是要接上一个原形的动词哦。那其实除了用助动词 can 之外呢，其实我们也可以用一个非常实用的片语，那就是 be able to。它这个片语呢，也可以表示有能够的意思。那这个在这个片语里面的这个 able 呢，它是作为一个形容词，表示的意思呢就是能够的。那这个片语呢，一样，我们后面呢也是要加上一个原形动词。那我们用这个片语呢来造一个例句式看看哦，像是 I'm sorry that I wasn't able to call you yesterday。我很抱歉啊，就是我昨天没有办法打电话给你哦。那这个 be able to 呢，其实我们相较于助动词 can 来说，它可以搭配的时态呢，其实是比较多的。像是呢，我们在今天的这个文章里面就有提到Luna won't be able to use the magic until she's 13。那这表示的意思呢，就是 Luna 在13岁前呢，她其实都没有办法使用她的魔法哦。那这边呢，就是搭配一个未来式来使用哦。那 can 呢，其实跟它的过去式 could 这2个呢，它们只能使用就是现在式以及是过去式。好啦，那我们今天的这个 Magic Box 就到这边咯，我们下次见，拜拜。
所以呢，我们讲到 Luna 到13岁前都不能使用魔法。
Yeah, and hopefully this will mean that she can control her magic and learn about it and grow up a bit. But like in a lot of stories, when you do magic, you have to kind of pay a price. It's not just as easy as spell, done. We see in the article, however, when Luna turns 13, Zan will die.Luna
13岁的时候 Zan 就会发生一件事情。我们看到 die 这个动词什么意思呢？ Let's take a look. Die 这个动词呢，指的就是死亡。那我们可以说 someone died of or died from a disease， 那就是某人因某疾病而死，或者是呢在意外中丧生，我们也可以说 died in an accident。那委婉一点的用法，我们可以用 pass or pass away。那再来形容词是 dead D-E-A-D， 名词是 death。D-E-A-T-H。 那单字例句给的是呢 We're all sad when our family's dog died。 当我们家的狗过世的时候呢，我们都非常的难过。
Right, you might say, our dog is 17 years old, so we know he's going to die before long. So that's kind of solved the problem with Luna's magic and Zan for now, but it won't be a happy ending unless something different happens. So now we're going to go back to that village where Luna is from, and we see that Antain, a former student elder, hates the sacrifice ritual. So we've got a few different ideas to look at here. We remember elder yesterday. These are the older people, the leaders of this village. But this guy, Antain, is a former elder student or a student elder.
是的，我们看到 former 这个形容词摆在前方，那它在形容的是什么呢？我们来看一下吧。Former 这个形容词呢是先前的、过去的或是前任的，所以former president 那就是前任的总统。Former city mayor 那就是前市长。So for example, this street is named after the former city mayor， 代表这一条街是以前市长来命名的。那当然像是 former wife 前妻 ，former husband 前夫都会用到这个字。还有就是前雇主 former employer。那单词例句给的是呢 At my former job, I worked in a store. Now I'm a nurse. 我前一份工作是在商店里面上班，那现在是一名护理师。
So we use former to talk about something that was true or happened in the past, but is not true now. I saw my former boss the other day, meaning that person is not my boss anymore, and she asked me to come back and work for her. So Antain used to be, before, a student elder, which means that elder isn't just you get old and you become a village leader. You have to study and gain knowledge and pass maybe some tests.
Yeah, it's like an internship.
Right, so before, Antain was studying so he could become an elder, a village leader, but then for some reason he stopped being a student, maybe because he hated the ritual.
是的，我们刚看到 elder 是这个镇上的首领，那这边的 student elder 那就是实习的镇上首领。那像是还有 student teacher 实习老师，就是你必须要先去实习才可以当上正式的老师。
Right, you might say there are several student teachers in our school. They help the other teachers. And Antain didn't want to be a student elder because he hated this sacrifice ritual.
他很讨厌这样子牺牲献祭的仪式。那仪式这个字呢，我们用到就是 ritual 这个名词。
Yeah, in this case, the ritual is leaving the babies out in the woods. We have a lot of rituals in our daily life, in special times. Here's one, we might say during the naming ritual, the priest put special water on the baby's head. So, Antain, we learn he feels terrible about the mad woman. Maybe he thinks, oh, if we hadn't taken her baby, she wouldn't have gone mad. This is all our fault. This is terrible.
所以这位 student elder 他就为这位疯掉的母亲感到非常难过。
And we also see worse, years later, his baby will be the next sacrifice. So not only does he feel guilty about all this happening problems, he's had a baby, but the baby's going to be taken away.
Right, he's really worried about
Right.
that. 所以更糟的是呢，几年之后 Antain 他自己的婴儿会被牺牲掉。
Right,
So what can he do here?
well, he decides to kill the witch to keep the town's babies safe. There's an interesting character and story part here. We know Antain's kind of a good guy, right? He's trying to protect his baby. He's trying to do good after the town's done bad.
But he doesn't know.
He's going to do that by killing the witch.
He doesn't know the witch is actually doing something good.
Right. So this is when lots of characters are trying to do the right thing, even though those things don't quite match up, that makes an interesting story.
那我们这边看到 keep 加上受词以及一个形容词的用法，代表的是使某人事物保持某种状态，像是呢 the store owner tried very hard to keep the store open， 那就是他很努力要让这间店继续营业下去。
Or we'd say put the milk in the fridge to keep it cold. Now here, Antane wants to keep all these babies, including his own, safe.
Safe 是一个形容词，什么意思呢？ Let's find out.Safe 这个形容词呢，代表安全的。那相反字就是 unsafe， 只要在字首加上 un 就可以了，或者是要用 dangerous 也是可以的。那再来呢，有一个说法是安然无恙的 safe and sound。For example, luckily they arrived home safe and sound。幸运的是，他们安然无恙的回到家。那还有一个说法是 better safe than sorry， 安全总比后悔好，那就是防范于未然的意思。那单字例句给的是呢 There's a problem with my car, it's not safe to drive right now。 我的车有问题，现在驾驶它并不安全。那回到课文来呢，我们说到 Antane 他决定要杀掉女巫，来让镇上的婴儿们安全长大。
Going back to the word safe, you might say, I don't think it's safe to walk around this part of town at night.People might try to steal your stuff. Okay, but we realize, and we kind of know this from the story, however, Antane doesn't know something.
是的，他不知道的事情，那件事情是很重要的。
Well, several things. Firstly, he thinks the witch is bad when the witch is good, but we also see Sister Ignatia, the head of the Sisters of the Star, that religious group of women, is really a bad person.
那我们这边看到的 head 是个名词，代表头头、老大或是首领。Sister Ignatia 她就是 Sisters of the Star 的首领，她才是坏的那一个。
Right, she's the head, she's the boss, the leader. We could say the head of this company has a really big office. The leader, the top boss, that guy, he's the head.The sacrifice ritual, so the leaving babies in the woods, leaves people in sorrow. That word from yesterday. They feel super sad. And she feeds on it.
OK，
Whoa.
牺牲的仪式让镇上的人很悲伤，那她就是靠人们的悲伤而生存下去。
Yeah, so everybody's feeling sad, everybody's feeling sorrow, and this feeling, somehow using magic, I guess, this leader of these sisters is feeding on it to keep her strong and give her power and keep her alive. So, but everyone thinks she's good, but she's bad, and everyone thinks the witch is bad, but she's good.And how's all this going to get fixed? We just don't know. And we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to find out because we're at the end of day 2 of the story. Let's now go to our review time activity.
Review
time.So let's review some of today's word power words by putting them in the form of questions. So we had the word dragon. So our question is, why do you think so many cultures have stories about dragons?
I think they're seen as sacred animals.
But why
And they can bring good luck to people.
But why are there dragon stories all over the world? You see, some parts of the world have stories about one thing, some have stories about another thing, but dragons show up everywhere.
Right, everywhere, no matter it's in Western culture or Eastern culture.
Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is? Maybe somehow they did exist before.Okay,
I think you could be right, but not in the right way. I think maybe people found things like dinosaur bones.
Okay.
And they kind of figured out the stories through that. Maybe dragons.
So based on dinosaurs.
I think so. That would be my guess. Maybe dragons are just real. Who knows? Okay, we had another word power word, former. How often do you see your former classmates?
Oh, like I still see my former classmates in high school.
Really?
Right.
Your high school classmates?
We get together maybe once every month.
Okay, that's cool.
What about you?
I mean, I haven't seen them in many years due to me living in a different country. But if I go back to the UK, there's 2 or 3 that I will definitely meet up with a couple of times while I am there. So the next question, we've got the word safe. Do you feel safe in your city, in Taipei?
Oh, I feel very safe in my city.
I feel pretty safe in Taipei unless I'm driving or on the road.
Oh,
then I don't feel safe.
And you won't be happy about it.
No, but have you
Traffic's just bad.
Right. Have you ever been to a city where you didn't feel safe?
Oh, when I was in Spain, I didn't feel safe at all.
Okay.
Because a lot of people told me that you got to be careful in that country.
Yep, I've been to Spain and I've had stuff stolen from me. I didn't feel like anyone was going to hurt me, but I didn't feel that I got to keep an eye on my wallet, my keys, my important stuff at all times. I've been to a few other places where I thought, you know what? I'm not going to walk through this part of town at night. I will go get a taxi or do something else.
What about in Taipei? You've been living here for a long time. How do you feel?
Yeah, apart from on the roads, no problem. Super safe here. I don't feel in danger at all. Okay, that's all the time we've got for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. But join us again tomorrow for part 3 and how do we find out the resolution to this story. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye.
The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Warm-up question. Which laws or traditions do you hate? Why?
Zan brings the baby home. She lives with Glurk, a monster, and Therian, a small dragon. Zan adopts the baby and names her Luna. When Luna is 5, Zan puts a spell on her. Luna won't be able to use her magic until she's 13. However, when Luna turns 13, Zan will die. Antane, a former student elder, hates the sacrifice ritual. He feels terrible about the mad woman. Worse, years later, his baby will be the next sacrifice. He decides to kill the witch to keep the town's babies safe. However, Antane doesn't know something. Sister Ignatia, the head of the Sisters of the Star, is really a bad person. The sacrifice ritual leaves people in sorrow, and she feeds on it.
Word power.
Dragon. Dragon. In the story, the hero has to save a princess from a terrible dragon. In the story, the hero has to save a princess from a terrible dragon. Die. Die. We were all sad when our family's dog died. We were all sad when our family's dog died. Former. Former. At my former job, I worked in a store. Now I'm a nurse. At my former job, I worked in a store. Now I'm a nurse. Safe. Safe. There's a problem with my car. It's not safe to drive right now. There's a problem with my car. It's not safe to drive right now.
认识字汇
Adopt. Adopt. Spell. Spell. Ritual. Ritual.